So I think we need to start thinking more, especially in the day and time of AI, of how do we keep our governance lean but effective. And I believe that what you were saying is always take into account a sense of community, because a sense of community can help us to zero in on the things that we may not have thought about and some very varying perspectives. So that's what I heard you say, and that's why I wanted you to lean into that some more, because I like the value of community. To me, is very important, and what you were saying makes a whole lot of sense, and something that we need not exclude in our thinking and in our governance alignment.
Yeah, I think a lot about the agile mindset, weighs into this, right? In terms of what that community is comprised of. And the when I think of an agile approach to say managing a project, that's making sure that all the stakeholders that might have something to weigh in are involved in the conversation. And I've seen a lot of these communities, especially in the IT community, they get very like domain centric, right? You may only have networking people talking to networking people, and so they talk about networking, but they don't understand how the networking is being used. How's it getting paid for? How is it going to be, like so? And that's where I think the community gets involved, and this gets to that risk assessment, right? Because like often we found that if we wanted money to do anything related to enterprise data governance, enterprise AI, it had to go through cyber, because cyber had the money, because that's where everybody thought the risks were. But we knew, and at the operational side, that we had public stakeholders that were concerned. We had, if we were transitioning R&D to deployment, we had IP rights issues. There's lots of risks, and these are all framed in some nice references that have been put out there by the CFO Council. This Enterprise Risk Management Playbook is the one that I use. It categorizes 11 types of risk, and I think making sure that those risks are represented in your governance process, is the way to make sure that you're at least considering, what there might be, right?
Mhm.
And
And that
if
holistic
they,
view. Yeah.
yeah, and making sure that those executive champions and sponsors that are controlling what work gets done, have the awareness that, okay, yes, there's a cyber risk, we get it, but there's these other things that I need to consider.
Hmm.
And that's something I think that that risk management in general, I think that's been advocated for at least the last decade or something. And DOE, they have an order that gets to risk management, but yeah, it's often talked about, and not really, I don't know, it's not executed consistently enough to make an informed decision about what's good or not, what's not working, I think.
Hmm.
We could talk about that's the same thing for enterprise architecture, and which also weighs into a lot of this, right? Because if you don't understand those risks, then you're not informing your EA well enough to build it comprehensively to mitigate these risks.